Welcome to the Halftime Show, your world of sports in half the time. I'm Colton the Bias.
And I'm Ben Tenuta.
Bombshell signing in the NFL yesterday as J.J. Watt unexpectedly, in our minds, signed with the Arizona Cardinals. According to Yahoo Sports, Arizona is giving the three-time Defensive Player of the Year a 2-year deal worth $31 million with $23 million of that guaranteed. So, Ben, who would have thought he would go to Arizona? Arizona never even crossed my mind on the list of teams that JJ was thinking about going to. Did it for you?
No, I mean they honestly showed no interest at first, and they weren't even seemed like they were in the conversation at all.
So, how do you think Arizona is going to do this year with JJ?
Well, with the addition of JJ and having Chandler Jones, I think they have a potential to have a great season this year, and maybe even win the division. With Kyler Murray progress last season, I think he could also progress to having another great year in this upcoming one.
You think? Geez, I think that's a little bit of a bold statement, Ben, with having the Cardinals winning the division, because I think a lot of people have just said, oh, it's either going to be Seattle or the Rams again, and also depending on what San Francisco does, but they got a whole other situation with Garoppolo. But I thought Arizona was going to be good even without JJ there. But the curious thing to me is about how JJ kind of had a quiet year. Well, then again, Houston did nothing anyway. So do you think JJ has like that impact, Ben, for like the Cardinals to be that division winner?
Well, obviously JJ's not the same JJ anymore. He's starting to get pretty old, but I think his impact could really be a great addition to this defense. I mean, last season they had a great year, and I think this could be that one step that could bring him to that next chapter. I could see it, but it's any given Sunday.
Yeah, I see that too, Ben. I think I gotta pump the brakes on the division because it is so stacked, and well, depending on what Russell Wilson does in the offseason, Seattle is gonna still be a contender with the Rams held a pit with Aaron Donald. I think they can still be a contender, and also with Matthew Stafford coming in to the division. Now, speaking of this division, do you think, Ben, that the NFC West with Arizona, Seattle, Rams, and San Francisco, do you think that they are necessarily the most watched division in the NFL for next year?
I mean, at this point, it kind of seems that way, with other teams and divisions. It seems like they didn't really have a great year last year. Like the Vikings kind of fell off. Green Bay had a decent year. And like they always, they usually just win the division. Now Tampa Bay completely controlling their division. Now that Drew Brees is gone, I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Saints. Atlanta has kind of been falling apart. So I think that division's, probably the toughest one in the group.
All right, well, I guess we will have to see, but we are going to have to end that there and see if JJ is going to make a true impact in the desert. So on the way was spring training for the Pirates beginning in Florida. With a few games already under their belt, we are going to give our thoughts on the Pirates for the 2021 season. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. The 2020 season for the Pittsburgh Pirates is one that they wish to forget, finishing the season last place in the NL Central with a record of 19-41. While the other four teams in the division, the Cubs, the Reds, the Brewers, and the Cardinals, all made it to the postseason. Now, Ben, I don't think a lot of people are expecting the Pirates to make any noise this season, but do you think they can?
Well, anything can happen in sports, but like you mentioned, I don't think anything's going to happen. The projections already show they're going to be in the bottom of the division and the league this year. And, I don't really have any hopes for this season, but I'm hoping that, some of these young prospects can progress.
Yeah, I think that is one of the reasons why I think people do not have them up there. Now, a few weeks ago, thanks to the Center for Sports Media and Marketing, we had an opportunity to chat with new Pirates president, Travis Williams. Now, he mentioned that in a way, it's like they want to build it's like they want to build on the players that they have now into the future. So how do you think that it's going to turn out, Ben, with all these prospects that they got in the trades for Josh Bell and Jamison Taillon and Joe Musgrove? Because players like Colin Moran and Cole Tucker are not going to get the job done, especially this season.
Like you mentioned, I think they're gonna progress. I mean, I think this is a great way of doing it in baseball. A lot of these guys are really young, and they're gonna progress to being one of those top baseball players. Like you mentioned, Colin Moran's not gonna pull it off this year or anything. I think everyone on the team kind of knows that as well. But I think right now, the new team, the president, I think right now they're taking those steps to success. I think in a couple years, in like 5 years, 10 years possibly, we might be potential to have a winning division or something. I can see some big things coming for these young guys, and yeah.
Yeah, Ben, I do too, because it just seems like it's just a cycle, especially in the early 2010s when the Pirates got those prospects and Andrew McCutchen and Garrett Cole, and then turned it into what was, like in 2013, 14, and 15, the best core in all of baseball. So I think that's what the Pirates are going to try to do again, to build these prospects up in the next few years and then try to contend for a World Series in possibly, like you mentioned, the next 5 to 10 years. But do you ever think, Ben, that with like under Bob Nunning's ownership, and obviously a lot of Pirate fans have criticized him for this. So, like, do you think that they're going to break that cycle eventually with maybe getting out one of these big contracts like what the Yankees and even the Padres have done this offseason?
I can't see them, with Bob Nutting purchasing somebody or giving someone that big contract. I don't think they can do that, and I don't think he'd be willing to do that. I think right now he has like a budget or something. I don't know. I kind of agree with a lot of Pirate fans. I'm not happy about it, but you can't really just assume things. We're not sure exactly how he feels, but I don't think anyone is worth that money right now to waste everything. But yeah.
I guess we'll have to see, Ben, and like you said, anything can happen. It's sports. So when we come back, happy times are coming back to PPG Paints Arena. Find out why when we return. Yesterday, Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf announced indoor venues can operate at 15% capacity for the first time in over a year. 2,800 fans will return then to PBG Paints Arena tonight to see the Penguins take on the Flyers, in which fans are going to be at PBG Paints Arena, Ben, for the first time in over a year. Like, what was your reaction when you first heard the news this morning?
I was excited. Tried to purchase tickets. Didn't fall through. A lot of people are excited for this, and a lot of people are lining up to get those tickets, and they're pumped for tonight's game.
Yeah, well, I take that back. It wasn't this morning. It was yesterday morning. Now, I think I was sitting on my couch in my living room, and then I got a notification on my phone saying that indoor venues can operate at 15% capacity. So I'm like, oh, does that mean Penguin fans are going to be allowed back in PBG Paints Arena? And then literally, not even I think a minute later, I got like a notification from the Penguins, because I'm on their their automated text to fans, and it just said, "Yep, fans are allowed back in PBG Paints Arena." I mean, I guess I maybe would have considered trying to get tickets too, but knowing because we had to be here tonight, I decided not to. But I think for sure I'm gonna have to get to a game in PBG Paints Arena in the future. I think. What was the last Penguin game, Ben, that you remember seeing in person before the pandemic hit?
The last game was last year. I went to one. I'm trying to think. I don't remember who they played. I'm not a huge hockey guy. I'm not gonna lie, but I love going to the Penn games, and it was a great experience. Anytime you go to a sporting event, the smell, the ice, everything about it is just wonderful.
Yeah, so do I. I went to 2 games last season. One in October against Colorado. I actually went with the man who produces this show, that is RJ Garrison. It was pretty exciting. It was actually a overtime win against the Avalanche. And then I went to a game against Detroit about 3 weeks before the pandemic. Penguins won that one as well, I believe. Yeah, but it's just like, who would have thought, Ben, that knowing that last February that we were going to be sitting here knowing that we haven't been to any sporting events all season long. I mean, I sure would have never expected it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I do remember my first hockey game, and that was a shootout, Sidney Crosby against New Jersey Devils. I don't know what year it was. I just remember it, and Sidney Crosby got the winning goal, and it was just an amazing experience, and I thought it was just awesome. And who would have thought years later everything would just be shut down, and now finally the fans are coming back.
Was it at a Mellon Arena, Ben, or at a PBG? Do you remember that at all?
No, I don't remember. I was really young though, so it might have been at Mellon.
Yeah, I was young for my first one. I know it was at Mellon Arena. I think it was against Carolina. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Ben, before we wrap up, do you have any thoughts on the Penguins now, knowing that they are playing pretty good? They split a 1-1 series over the weekend against the Islanders. So I know we talked about this earlier, but do you maybe see the Penguins still trying to make a run at the playoffs?
I think they can. They're only down a couple points right now, and now that tonight's a big game against the Flyers, but Sidney Crosby's out, and that's kind of tough. Sidney Crosby's Sidney Crosby. So I'm kind of leaning toward the Flyers are going to win tonight, but I think they can, when Sidney Crosby comes back, I think that, he can push us to, maybe postseason.
I think a lot of fans want to see Evgeny Malkin step up too, knowing Crosby is out.
Yep.
But that will have to do it for this week's episode of the Halftime Show, and we thank you for watching. I'm Colton the Bias.
And I'm Ben Sanuda.
And as always, we thank you for watching, and we hope to see all of you great folks next time.